Hey everyone, this is Edwin Dearborn, another edition of Growth Driven. And today I'm with Truman Wolfe, and we're going to be talking about 2021. That's right, next year, how to invest in crypto, lithium, and precious metals. All right, so Truman Wolfe, best-selling author. You do newsletters, you talk about some big stuff. You've been on George Norrie's show, you've been on international shows talking about crypto, lithium, and precious metals. And here we are on the eve of the end of a very contentious election year. And the economy has done some pretty roller coastery things due to obvious reasons. But I wanted you to speak to the future because I know you're like an internationally recognized expert on the subject of crypto, lithium, and precious metals. So first of all, please welcome Truman Wolfe. Thank you for coming to our show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Edward. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what do you think is the biggest thing that's going to fall out on crypto, lithium, and precious metals? I mean, the election's going to be over here in a few days. What do you think is going to be the big opportunity or the big, I don't know, the big news after the election regarding the?
Well, I mean, all three of those sectors, if I can call them that, investment sectors, I think have strong potential. I think if I were to pick one that has the most explosive potential, I would pick lithium. Interestingly, today, the president just signed, well, I don't know if he signed it today. The news article was today, declaring a national emergency on the U.S.'s lack of important minerals. And lithium has kind of been on the radar screen, walking along kind of slowly, due to the fact that mobile phones, computers, various kinds of small appliances need rechargeable batteries, and lithium is essential for rechargeable batteries. And that has been the case for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so. And along comes Elon Musk. And not that he started the electric vehicle market, but so I don't think anybody's brought more attention to that market than he has. And your listeners may or may not know that the biggest boom in electric vehicles is China and India. We're kind of third on that tier. And these cars need lithium for rechargeable batteries. So the demand for lithium has skyrocketed, and if you look down the pike a few years, the demand for lithium far exceeds what at least is mineable, producible at this point. So this is the hot commodity, and there are some there's some nice investment opportunities with it.
That's awesome. So let me ask you something. I mean, the President of the United States just announced something about minerals. I mean, this is big news.
It was today. I think I read it today, Ed. I'm not sure when he signed it, but he declared a state of emergency on America's lack of strategic minerals. And he listed, there's a list of the minerals. Lithium is near the top of the list. And this is a national security issue.
Okay, so we've got a national security issue. We've got a highly precious mineral that's in demand for security issues. We've got the President of the United States, the most powerful office in the world, saying that this is a crisis. So you could say that this is the perfect storm for an investment opportunity. Traditionally.
It is. I mean, this announcement today just kind of poured gasoline on the fire that was already burning. it's huge. I'm just writing this month's newsletter on this subject, on lithium, what it is, why it's important, and where to invest. It's hot. This is this is the next lithium is the next oil, Ed, because as you look at the projections for electric vehicles, both here and abroad, that graph is trending and predicted to trend up very, very sharply. And with it is the need for lithium.
Very much so. And you mentioned something about your newsletter, and I just want to highlight something here, which I'm going to be, as you can see, scrolling down below. If you go to John Truman Wolfe, you can get his newsletter. He's got a paid newsletter. I think it's like what, $99 a year, if I'm correct.
It is $99 a year. It isn't on johntrumanwolfe.com. My books are on johntrumanwolfe.com.
Okay.
The newsletter is at strategicfinancialintelligence.com. Kind of a mouthful, but strategicfinancialintelligence.com.
Okay, good. I'll definitely put that in the link in the video when we're done with this. A link to that website. You're right; it is a mouthful, but I know that the newsletter is highly valuable. So, but if they go to John Truman Wolfe, is there any type of link to that website that they can find?
It's a very good question. I think the answer is no, and you bring it to my attention, and I'll get a link there right away.
Okay,
but
good.
I don't think I've asked my webmaster to do that. Just been too busy. But there should be a link, but there's not one now.
Okay, good. Well, we'll definitely help you on that if we can. But either way, they can find you online. They can get to that newsletter. Okay, so you've got lithium. We've got the President of the United States, precious metal. This is obviously a perfect way to move into the 2021 with your strategy. How does one typically invest in lithium? Like, so I'm a newbie personally to precious metals and specifically lithium. And I go, good, I want to put $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. Where do I begin my investment journey with lithium?
Well, there's a great question. There's a few ways you can do that. One, there is a lithium ETF, electronic funds organization, corporation, in which you can invest. And these guys have gone out and looked at various lithium mines and lithium companies. They buy stocks from those that they have assessed are valuable, and then you invest in the ETF. So you can do that. The newsletter makes reference to, and the newsletter, I'm mentioning the newsletter because I just finished the proofread. It'll be out in a couple of days. So you can do it with an ETF. You can buy individual stocks, of course. There are three big players in the lithium market that have kind of controlled this metal for a couple of decades. Two of them are hot. SQM is one. The other one is Albemarle. Again, this stuff is all in the newsletter. But these are big companies. These are well-established lithium miners. They do other things, but they're major lithium miners and have been. They're well-established. And if you want to, step on the wild side a little bit, get a little bit risky, I hasten to add, don't invest money you can't afford to lose. But there are some what we would call junior lithium mining companies, and I feature one of them in the newsletter that is trading for about $0.50, I don't know, 50, 60 cents. Critical Elements Lithium. It's a little company out of Quebec. And boy, their future looks really bright to me. The stock hasn't exploded yet. You can get into an ETF. You can buy individual stocks if you want to get into one of the big corporate lithium miners, or you can get one of these junior stocks. There are two sources of lithium. One's called lithium carbonate. The other one is called lithium hydroxide. Lithium carbonate has ruled the lithium market up until now, really. I mean, they controlled about 85% of lithium, and that came from, believe it or not, brine, saltwater flats, mostly in Argentina, Chile. But with the advent and growth of the electrical vehicle market and the demand for good batteries, it is the lithium hydroxide, which is the key element for those batteries. And this little company up in Canada has got a great lithium hydroxide mine. That's how you can invest.
Great. Thank you for that. So, hey, subscribe to John's newsletter, check it out, and you can find out more about lithium. Okay, well, we obviously know that lithium is just one of the minerals and precious metals that one can invest in as an opportunity. Where do you see other precious metals like gold, silver, maybe some others that I'm not aware of that may be hot in 2021? And tell me why.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about gold and silver for a little while now. And I called, the modesty aside, I called the breakout of gold. It was trading along at a flat line, kind of a base at $1,400 an ounce until last year. And I said, if it breaks 14, it's $100 an ounce, it's going to run. And it's trading today close to 1,900. So that's up, whatever that is, a third or something.
Yeah, about 30%, 33%, yeah.
And the same with silver, although the silver breakout was a little bit later. And again, I called it when silver breaks $19 an ounce, it's going to run. And a couple of months ago, it did that 2-3 months ago. And silver's trading, I think, close to $24 an ounce today. So, and it's my opinion that the bull market in precious metals has just started. When I say precious metals, I'm talking about, gold and silver, primarily platinum, but primarily gold and silver. And I think we've got, I don't know, a 2 or 3 year bull market in front of us in terms of the precious metals. And you can invest in precious metals by getting bullion. Bullion coins. You can get gold and silver coins, 1 ounce coins. Virtually every major nation on the planet mints a national bullion coin. So in America, it's called the eagle. So you can get a silver eagle or a gold eagle. And I'm sure people have heard of, Krugerrands and maple leaves. Krugerrands from South Africa, maple leaves from Canada. I think the one in Australia is a koala. There's a panda in China. These are all bullion coins that governments mint. So you can get, depending on how much money you're going to put in, you can get silver coins, silver eagles, gold eagles. I'm a fan of a company down in Southern California called Monex, Monex.com, Monex.com. Because I've been doing business with them since the 70s. So they've been around a long time.
Wow.
Very, very solid outfit. So you can buy bullion coins, and I am more a fan of silver than gold, simply because if the stuff hits the fan, you need to buy, groceries or gas. You don't want to take an ounce of gold down there. You'd be better to take an ounce of silver. And silver's got more leverage. So I advise folks that ask me to go, maybe 65-35, 70-30 in terms of buying silver over gold.
Okay, good. That's a good strategy. And that makes a lot of sense because silver would be more manageable for day-to-day purchases versus trying to take a gold bar to buy some milk and eggs.
That's right. Because a gold eagle, a 1 ounce gold eagle today sells for around $2,000. So exactly. You're going to buy a dozen eggs, you have a hard time getting cash.
Yeah, you might get the Gold Eagle to get you some ammo, a big stash of ammo, or 5 months worth of food or something like that. But everyday purchase, you want the silver. It makes a lot of sense. So now you talked about a bull run for about 2, maybe 3 years in precious metals. Okay, so let's say it goes 3 years. What do you see after that?
Well, I mean, typically commodity investments of this nature will have a run, a very healthy run. I monitor the stock graphs on these metals closely, but at some point they'll break. You know, I mean, calling the exact top of a bull market is the stuff of crystal balls. I don't own that crystal ball, but I can tell when at least the indicators of the top of a market. The volume gets very heavy, and the insiders that have been buying that metal for years at lower prices are now dumping it because the public is being encouraged via the financial press, PR. Gold is now hot, silver is now hot. I remember one time I was buying a commodity. It wasn't gold or silver, but very similar, and I had done handsomely, and it was going up and up and up. And I called my broker. I said, "What's the corporate take on this particular commodity?" He says, "No, I just got a memo. They said buy." I said, "Sell." You know.
Yeah, you're a contrarian investor.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have, I don't know where things will be in 3 years, but I'm always a fan of precious metals, even if the graph isn't screaming. They've been money for 5,000 years, Ed. It's a good insurance policy.
It's a good insurance policy. Okay, so you say buy silver, 70% of, maybe 30% gold. It's going to have strong 2-3 years. And that's a really good, I guess, investment 101 kind of indicator. When everybody's in the press saying buy and the big guys are dumping, you know that something's about to break.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the general, I may be wrong, but I don't think the general public understands that the media PR campaigns are built around these investments. I can think of another time when I had invested in a particular commodity and it was going along, it was doing fine. And then I'll confess, it was sugar. I was trading sugar futures. And so I had a contract or two of sugar futures, and the World Sugar Association issued a press release, and it said, okay, we don't expect the price to get over 8 cents for the next, X number of years, which was an indication to me. I went in and I bought some more. And maybe a month after that, it broke to the upside. So I read, contrarian is the right word, and I read. You have to understand there's some intention behind the PR that comes out on these things, and you have to be able to kind of read between the lines.
Yeah, that's actually a very good tip. I think that, unfortunately, people don't read between the lines. They take the lines literally.
Yeah.
And they get fleeced because the PR is built around fleecing the majority of investors.
Exactly right.
Yeah, it's like the house always wins. So when the house gets excited, to pull out and get out.
Yeah.
It's almost like the house is ready to tell you when they're going to fleece you if you know how to read the market.
Yeah. And when the house is promoting it, I just step aside.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's very contrarian. Okay, so we've talked about lithium. We've talked about gold and silver. You've given us some great tips. It seems like crypto, it's funny. My Twitter feed, people on Facebook, there's some people that just are absolutely certain. Now, I have my skepticisms because it's supposed to be the opposite of fiat currency. But my understanding is that what is backing, is there anything actually backing crypto? How does it have It says it's the anti-fiat currency, yet is there anything backing it that makes it the option?
It's a great question. And you know, 2-3 years ago, you know, somebody would mention Bitcoin to me, and I'd go, yeah, you know, nothing behind it. No,
Right.
no, it's changed. Crypto is here to stay.
Okay.
Crypto is not going away. And to answer your question, the crypto market is decentralized. So these are decentralized cryptocurrencies, meaning there's nobody controlling them. There's no
Right.
central bank, there's no government controlling them. So they're decentralized. There is a coming movement, which we could talk about, by central banks around the world to get rid of cash and convert what's in your bank account to zeros and ones. This is coming. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff. This is coming. But back to your question, in the cryptocurrency world, the decentralized cryptocurrencies, some of those cryptos have nothing but opinion and agreement behind them. You're right. But some of them represent world-class services and products. So Bitcoin, which is the grandfather of the whole scene, Bitcoin hit the market in 2009. It stayed as the only crypto for a couple of years. It was developed by this guy, I say this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. You may or may not know the story. Satoshi developed it, passed a white paper on to somebody, and he disappeared. Nobody knows who he is. My opinion is that he is the National Security Administration, but that's another story. So, but Bitcoin stayed out there for a couple of years by itself, and then its progeny started. And today, Ed, there are 7,000 cryptos. 7,000.
Yeah.
And
I think, and to that point,
yeah,
I think that adds a lot of confusion. First of all, it's a relatively new type of currency or way of exchange. I don't know if I want to call it a currency, but a digital currency. And then there's all these other currencies. It's like, well, which one should I buy? Which one should I invest in? What will be the next Bitcoin? Is there going to be another Bitcoin? And so I think that adds a lot of skepticism. It's almost like you're going to the supermarket and there's no real brand name other than brand X, and everybody else is brand Y. And which brand do I pick when they all kind of look the same?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. For the people that are kind of into this world, and I guess I'd count myself as one of those, you get an understanding of what's behind particular currencies and what's not. For instance, when Satoshi released Bitcoin, he also released the technology that transfers that currency around the world in the blink of an eye. That technology is called blockchain. So, and that word is everywhere now. Corporations are building their own blockchains. It's a big deal. A big deal. The company that developed the software for corporations to make their own blockchain is called Ethereum. And that digital currency represents that company's progress. This was developed by some kid out of Norway, I think, when he was 19. This is 5 years ago. And Ethereum is the number 2 cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has a market cap, meaning the amount of money in it, of about 240 billion. Ethereum's got a market cap of about 40 billion. So it represents something real, product, service. Another crypto that a lot of people talk about is Ripple, which harkens back to my college days in the 60s and a cheap wine. I don't know why they named that currency Ripple. But Ripple is a technology that facilitates instant transfer of money internationally by banks. And Ripple's got 200 international banks that are clients. So this is a company that provides a service and its currency, the digital currency, represents that activity. So while Bitcoin has nothing behind it other than agreement, Ethereum's got blockchain, Ripple's got their international monetary transfer technology. So you have to, if you're going to invest in crypto, you either have to subscribe subscribe to my newsletter, or
Yes, absolutely.
a little used car salesman there, or get into it. Stick your toe into the water and buy a little bit. You don't have to spend a lot of money buying crypto. Bitcoin today is trading at around $13,500 for a Bitcoin, but you can open an account and you can throw $100 in, or 500, or 1,000, or whatever you want. The point is, you don't have to buy an entire coin; you just buy a little piece of one. So you can do that. There are exchanges. If you're going to buy some General Motors, you call your broker and he'd buy some General Motors on the New York Stock Exchange. Cryptocurrencies have their own exchanges. There's several cryptocurrency exchanges around the planet. Big one in the U.S. is called Coinbase. That's one that's reasonably user-friendly. And then, there's lots of others. So you can open an account, and then it's pretty simple. You use a credit card or your bank, and put some money in and buy. This world is not going away.
Yeah. Okay. So, so tell me what, like in the next 5 years, where do you see crypto being an exchangeable service?
Well, let me get rid of this. Sorry. My last newsletter was on this subject.
Okay.
The bank that I call the godfather of the global financial mafia is a bank in Basel, Switzerland. The name is the Bank for International Settlements. Most people have never heard of this bank. It is the central banker's central bank. So the US Fed, the Bank of Canada, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of Italy, they're all members of the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements. They did a survey at the end of last year and found that 80% of the central banks in the world are either developing, testing, or have rolled out what are called CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. These are central banks that are replacing cash with zeros and ones. In China, which is the leading industrial nation on the planet that's doing this, 4 different cities are operating on CBDCs. People are being paid with CBDCs. So digital currency is coming. It's coming to your bank account. And this is to distinguish from cryptocurrencies, which are decentralized. The CBDCs are centralized, central bank digital currencies, and the central bank will control what's in your bank account. Not only that, they make a doormat of the Fourth Amendment because they can follow every single 0 and 1 wherever it goes.
I see that.
This is very 1984-ish.
Very. Okay, so let me ask you something. You kind of already answered my question, which is now they can track every purchase that I make. It's a violation of my Fourth Amendment because now they've breached my security. They know what car I bought, what gun I bought, what ammo I bought, who I paid off, who I didn't pay off. Why would a bank, now we're getting in not only just what some people would call conspiracy theory, but this is conspiracy fact. Because when they go to zeros and ones, that's going to be a fact.
Yeah.
Why does a bank want to have zeros and ones versus cash? Like, what's the advantage to them?
One word: control.
Okay.
They can't control the cash. You can take cash out of the bank. You can bury it. You can use it to buy gold or guns or whatever. But with cryptos, you know, guy's getting up at night. He's going to the bathroom more than he should. He goes to the doctor and he gets some medication for his prostate. The doctor takes the money. This digital currency now. The doctor takes the money. He buys some drugs from his pharma rep. The pharma company takes the money and sends it to their lobbyist in Washington. The lobbyist sends the money to an escort service. The woman at the who's shepherding a congressman around. Yes, the woman in the escort service buys some new body parts from her cosmetic surgeon. The cosmetic surgeon uses the money to buy some cocaine. Obviously this is kind of a joke, but it's not. They can follow that money every place it goes.
So we've completely lost our privacy. Right, wrong, or indifferent, whether the service we buy is good or bad, we've lost our privacy.
When this becomes ubiquitous, that's definitely what will happen, and it's in the process of going very, very quickly.
Okay, so now they have control. So now here's my second conspiracy theory question. Now that the banks say, okay, well, we've got our own crypto. This other crypto that's not centralized, this is dangerous. Will they try to, through various chicanery, overtake or seize, whether legal or illegally, they actually seize Bitcoin and Ethereum as a national threat or some type of tank?
Yeah, it's possible, Ed. It's definitely possible. That said, if you're going to attack Bitcoin, which as we speak represents about 60% of the entire crypto world, who do you go after? There is no board of directors. There is no corporation. There is no anything. There's no bank connection. There's no government connection. And the fact of the matter is that Bitcoin is becoming more and more useful. Last week, PayPal announced that they're now going to accept Bitcoin from their 340 million users, and it's going to be used in their 20 million vendor accounts. So this is becoming part of the culture. The Office of Comptroller of Currency a couple of months ago issued a press release saying, okay, U.S. banks may accept crypto deposits. In other words, a bank can take and hold crypto for you. So this is kind of melding into the financial culture.
Yep.
And I think it will get so imbued that the government trying to ban it will be a problem. I can see that fight coming, though.
Yeah, so can I. Okay, so now, first of all, John, thank you so much for giving a lot of insight on crypto. I've learned a lot, like how it works much clearer than trying to read people's opinions on Facebook about it, which I think is even more reason why people should get your newsletter, because there's so many speculators out there. There's so many instant experts that cite Lord knows what about crypto, not so much about silver and gold. Like you said, that's been around for 5,000 years. It's like that's an established currency. But when it comes to crypto, I just see everybody all over the place. I take it that this is a topic that you talk about on a routine basis in your newsletter.
Yes, I make at the end of the newsletter every month, I make investment recommendations, usually covering gold and silver, crypto, and Ethereum. So I definitely do that. And then I do a weekly radio show and or podcast coming, and that is transcribed and sent to the subscribers of the newsletter. So they get a monthly newsletter with recommendations, and then they get weekly updates of, I interview CEOs of mining companies or opinion leaders in finance and stuff. So but I definitely talk about it and will continue to do so. It's become part of life. If you're into the investment world, you cannot not pay attention to it.
Good point. Yeah, it's unavoidable, and might as well make some big moves now before it becomes more difficult or less accessible or just less profitable.
Yes, exactly.
Great. So before we go, John, what's the one? I mean, obviously, we want people to sign up for your newsletter. Can you tell us the name of that website again? I will put the link below in the video after we're done, but go and tell us that the website address.
Yeah, it's strategicfinancialintelligence.com. Strategicfinancialintelligence.com.
Strategicfinancialintelligence.com. Great. I want you guys to sign up for that newsletter. I know that having known John for a number of years, actually decades, he's very well read, but not only well read, you are well connected to some of the people at the very top of the food chain. You've been writing about it for decades, so you're very much in the know. What would be your, before we go here, give us one little final nugget of wisdom or maybe some insight that people can take away and do something.
Well, I would go back to the first thing that we talked about. I think lithium is the new oil, and I think if people are, they've got some money in their 401k or their IRA, and they want to, you don't have to dive in. You can stick your toe in the water and get some lithium, because the future for lithium is huge. It's driving. So, I mean, look at the number of, mobile phones on the planet.
There you
go. Just as one example, and the growing, the growth of electric vehicles is huge, and it's going to be bigger. So, I'm a fan of sticking your toe in the lithium waters right now.
Great. And then again, back to newsletter. You're going to tell them where and how to buy the best lithium, best companies, best established brands, best products to put their money in terms of lithium. Well, John, I really want to thank you for your time. I got a lot out of it. I know my audience is. With that, I've got a little outro that I'm going to play, but I just want to thank you for all of your time. Best of luck to you. And I'm sure we'll have you on the show again, probably mid next year, when you can kind of tell us, hey, I told you so, because you're going to tell us the before and after lithium prices and go, remember when I was on your show on October 30th and I said it was this and now it's this.
Right.
You should have invested. So once again, thank you for attending Growth Driven. This is Edwin Dearborn, John Truman Wolfe.